read it. I'm just going to repeat some of that.
Go.
Okay. So the high priest comes in and he gives the Torah scroll to the king. All the people stand up, stand up, stand up. We're rehashing, we're redoing this. And you're the priest, you're giving it to the king, you got all your other priests behind you. And the king takes it and goes and he sits down. And when the king sits down, then all the people sit down. Actually, the people remain standing to listen. But you can sit down because it's a hot day. And when you read Nehemiah and Ezra, this is what they're doing. But they just found the Torah for the first time. And they read it to the people. And they read it on this day during the 7th year. That was the 49th year of that sabbatical cycle. That's why it's recorded. That's why it's so special. So what you're doing here today has not been done, other than the one time I did it right here with 3 other men, has not been done for 2,000 years. So what you guys are taking part in today is a historic event, the restoration of all things.
Amen.
The Sabbath was restored to more churches after the 1900s. Then the holy days after about the 1930s and 40s. The Shemitah year since 2005 is when I started yelling it out. And there's other things, the Hebrew language, right? Since they've been back in the land. The restoration of all things has taken place now, and you are a part of it. You are that Elijah spirit. So for today, there's different things that I'm told that you can read. And we're going to do, I want to start with the pomp and ceremony part. So we're going to start in Exodus 19, where Jehovah, the king, is reading the law, the covenant, to the 2 to 3 million people that were sitting there listening. Then we're going to go to Deuteronomy, and then we're going to go back to Leviticus, and we'll finish up with Leviticus. So we're going to read all of Deuteronomy. So let's go to Exodus 19. The other thing is, anybody that wants to read a chapter, we're going to take turns reading a chapter. Come up here. If you don't want to read, that's fine. But we're going to take turns reading. This is not a day for debates. There's no debating. There's no discussions.
Amen.
We're just going to read the Torah today. Tonight, tomorrow, the rest of the week, we can argue our brains out. But right now, we are just going to perform what we call the Hakel, the gathering. You are gathered to read this. Gather the people. Right? So that starts in Exodus 19. Give me the verse. You got the right verse?
First, 19.
Let's just start in verse 19. This is going to take approximately 3 to 4 hours. And we've got the perfect day because there's nobody coming through here. This is a blessing.
Amen.
So, I'm going to read for the first little bit, and then I'm going to pass it off, and we can just start doing it. And James, once I get through 19, you can turn that off. That'll be enough to send up there.
Okay.
In the 3rd month after the children of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, on the same day they came to the wilderness of Sinai, for they had departed from Rephidim and had come to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. And Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain, saying, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, Tell the children of Israel, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be a special treasure to me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Let me just interrupt here. Today is the day, every 7th year, that you seven yourself. Now I tried to explain sevening. Sevening is like you're giving an oath. So it's just like when you count to the Feast of Shavuot, you're sevening yourself, you're renewing your oath at the Feast of Shavuot when this was done. Here we are in the sabbatical year, you're sevening yourself again, you're sevening yourself every time you keep the Sabbath. You're rededicating that oath to our husband, Jehovah. And this is his ketubah, the marriage contract that we agreed to in the loins of our ancestors. So if you're being called now, Jehovah's called you to be here. And if you stop and think about that, there's only 4 of us here in 2009. Now there's 23 of us. There should be 10,000 of us here.
There will be.
There will be, because you guys are going to take this and share it. Okay, so that's the last interruption from anybody, including me. Verse 6. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. So Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before them all these words which the Lord commanded them. Then all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. So Moses brought back the words of the people to the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, behold, I come to you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. So Moses told the words of the people to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and let them be ready for the 3rd day. For on the 3rd day the Lord will come down upon Mount Sinai, in the sight of all the people. You shall set bounds for the people all around, saying, take heed to yourselves that you do not go up the mountains or touch its base. Whoever touches the mountain shall surely be put to death. Not a hand shall touch him, but he shall surely be stoned or shot with an arrow. Whether man or beast, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds long, they shall come near the mountain. So Moses went down from the mountains to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, be ready, for the 3rd day do not come near your wives. Then it came to pass on the 3rd day in the morning that there were thunderings. So this is the pomp and ceremony that we're talking of. That there were thunderings and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountain. And the sound of the trumpet was very loud, and so that all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was completely in smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. And when the blast of the trumpet sounded long and became louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him by voice. Then the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and the Lord called to Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. And the Lord said to Moses, go down and warn the people, lest any break through to gaze at the Lord, and many of them perish. And let the priests who come near the Lord consecrate themselves, lest the Lord break out against them. But Moses said to the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, set bounds around the mountain and consecrate it. Then the Lord said to him, away, get down, and then come up, you and Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them. So Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. Chapter 20. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord your God. I am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you nor your son nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's. Now all the people witnessed the thunderings, the lightnings, the flashes, the sound, and the trumpet, and the making of the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. Then they said to Moses, You speak with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said to the people, Do not fear, for God has come to test you, and that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin. So the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. Then the Lord said to Moses, Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, You have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make anything to be with me, gods of silver, gods of gold, you shall not make for yourselves. An altar of earth you shall make for me, and you shall sacrifice on it your burnt offerings, your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I record my name, I will come to you, and I will bless you. If you will make me an altar of stone, and if you make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it of hewn stone, for if you use your tool on it, you have profaned it. Nor shall you go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness may not be exposed on it. So are we still recording?
Yes.
Yes? So brethren, I hope you have a great day today, and that you do this reading in whatever group you're with. And if you don't do it today, do it tomorrow. But do it during the feast and do it with other people. Shalom.